Well, good morning and welcome to the Morning Report. This is day 4 of the Great American Rebuild. Today, we get into something that used to be a point of pride in this country: hard work. But now, the system treats it like a punchline. Hustle is being called toxic. What? Providing for your family is somehow oppression in some circles. Showing up on time? Racist. And while that's just some capitalist brainwashing, according to some TikTok scholars, let's get something straight. The American work ethic didn't disappear. It's targeted because they don't want you tired from work. They want you lazy, broke, dependent, and thus easy to control. All right, let's rewind. This country was built by people who woke up early, stayed up late, and didn't whine about emotional labor. Farmers, tradesmen, moms with 2 jobs. They built this place with their backs, their faith, and their sweat. Now you've got these Ivy League, um, economists calling work a relic of colonialism. You've got the viral influencers shaming men who want to provide for their families and their children. And you've got half the country trying to retire by 30 with a laptop and a ring light. It's not just absurd, it's by design. Here you go. Here's I'm gonna be that guy for a second. Here's how it used to be. You would graduate from high school and you went down one or of 3 paths. One of the paths you went to the military, and that ended up being part of your at least part of your career. Or you went to college. That led to a career where you would at the end of that work, right? Or you went directly to work, depending on what that work was. That work could have been some trade that you learned. It could have been that you worked at the local gas station. You were a mechanic. You worked for a family business. That was what happened in a nutshell. Not entirely, and there were combinations of all three. But the main thing was that once you got done with some education thing, that you worked, because the work, or in the working, it was valuable. There was something good, something wholesome, something nearly spiritual about work. Always find something to do. Put your hand to something. But you know what? If you have a generation or two of people, I'm going to have some LaCroix. Yeah, I know that's kind of bougie for what I'm talking about, but hell, I work for it, and I like it, and I bought it with my own money, not EBT. I bought it my own damn money, and if I want to drink it, I will. Which is the point of what I'm about to say. Once you have someone who knows that they can work and get what they need and get what they want by their own hand, they're a very difficult person to control. They're a very difficult person to bottle in or bottle up. They're very hard because they know what they can just work. They can work. They can set their hands to something and do it themselves. They don't need to run to the government. They don't need to run to anybody to do what they need to do to get what they need to get. This is why these people are attacking work and the work ethic. We hear all the time, and you hear all the time, and you see, if you run a business or whatever, that people just don't want to work. They want to get a check, but they don't want to work. They don't want to put in the the effort, the labor. And yes, we hear these phrases from these TikTok gurus that you need to stop trading your time for money. And I especially hear it a lot because I'm on the music teacher's side of TikTok, being a classically trained saxophonist. I love saying that. I do classically trained saxophonist. That means I play saxophone, and I teach saxophone, flute, clarinet, trombone, trumpet, piccolo, oboe. Yeah. Anyway, I see these ads that say, "Stop trading your time for money." That's what work is. Even if you get efficient at it, that's what you're doing. The time that you put into something, the effort that you put into something, somebody will take that and the knowledge that you put in, and they will recompense you with something: money, housing, transportation, LaCroix, something. Because that's the concept. That's how it works. So we see, and it started with social media and Facebook and even MySpace to a degree. We started seeing all these gurus who are like, you know what, I'm 29 years old and I'm retired. No more working for me. What? What did I say? What did I say before? The idea was that you would get a job and people would work until you became of age for a pension or social security or whatever, and that was a normal process. Those normal processes of how things worked. But now, you get all these get rich quick schemes and pyramid schemes that you don't have to work really. That you make your money work for you. All these phrases that entice people not to work are all done on purpose. Because if you're not working and you don't think you can do things and you don't believe you can do something by your own hand, you quickly become dependent. When the system says, don't work, I'll send you a check. You'll get some basic income, which will be enough to carry, will be enough to make sure that you have food, will make sure that your basic needs are met. Why are you working? Why do you have a side hustle? Why? Because at some point you become dependent on whatever that system is. And that system knows that. Only takes a generation or two. They proved it with Black people in America. It only takes a generation or two. And then they've got you. And in the meantime, they're demonizing work. Don't let them get you. Because here's the ugly truth. When you stop working, they win. The government wins because you need their check. Big tech wins because you're glued to a screen and you're not building anything real. TikTok and X are not the real world. They are not. Big pharma wins because idle people become depressed. You know how you don't become how we can help with your depression? You could just take this Xanax. You could just take this whatever. You could just eat this Soma. From those of you who remember Soma from Brave New World, right? As a matter of fact, you take so much Soma, you can go on a Soma vacation. Nobody works. The elites win because you're too distracted to push back. Whatever they say, you will do. Like I said, they'll throw this universal basic income at you and call it freedom. But if you're dependent on something, then it's the opposite of freedom. It's oppression. Let me ask you something. When's the last time someone paid you to be independent? I can tell you by doing this, I can tell you the last time that someone paid me for being independent. Let me think. Never. They don't want you free. They want you comfortable enough to be compliant. That's what they want. Okay, for those of us who are people of faith, work isn't a punishment, it's a purpose. Adam worked before the fall. Paul said this: if a man won't work, you shouldn't eat. The book of Proverbs is filled with praise for the diligent and rebuke for the sluggard. The left, of course, paints labor as a burden. But real people, builders, makers, doers, know the truth. Work gives people purpose. Work gives women pride. And work gives children security. We don't need more programs. The country needs more producers, people who actually do stuff, people who have ideas, people who are okay with getting their hands dirty, getting some dirt under their fingernails, getting their hands scraped up a little bit, staying up late in the office and making stuff happen. This is how you build a nation. This is how you build a society. This is how you build a world. You build it with work. All right. Come on closer, 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 closer. Here's the secret that the elites don't want you to figure it out. Because once you realize you can build your own, like I said before, they lose all leverage. Build your own business, you don't need their handouts. Teach your own kids, you don't need their schools. Grow your own food, you don't need their chemicals. The work ethic isn't about getting rich. No, not at all. It's about getting free. Once they figure out that you can do it on your own, you don't need that or them, then you'll be free. But it comes with blisters. It comes with cuts and scrapes, banged up knees. Yes. And we're raising generations of people who can't handle boredom without a dopamine hit. I'm an only child. Willie is an only child. Can't you tell? And I tell people all the time, I tell my students all the time, I don't get bored. I just don't get bored. I don't get bored to the sense that it becomes a problem. There's a lot of times when I don't have anything pressing to do. I don't have a meeting. I don't have a lunch date. I don't have a breakfast meeting with a friend. I don't have to go to work. So I still work. I don't have a video to record. So sometimes I can just sit quietly. How many of you people can do that? How many people that you know can just sit quietly with your own thoughts? How many? Without, scrolling is a dopamine hit because you need that dopamine hit because you're bored. It's time to break the cycle, friends. It's time to break that cycle. Just like every video in our series, we got to talk about solutions. Got to talk about how to make it better. First of all, we have to stop mocking the trades. This idea that if someone wants to be an electrician, a carpenter, a plumber, we have to stop mocking that as that's some kind of failure. Not everybody needs a gender studies degree to matter. We got to start rewarding the effort. Are you rewarding what someone has done, what someone has built? Are we cheering on the people who accomplish now? That's what we need to start doing. We need to start rewarding the effort, cheering on the people who actually create something, and stop being okay with celebrating mediocrity. I can tell you where I saw it start. And I think you probably saw it start in the same place. T-ball. Yes, I am not a fan of T-ball. I think T-ball may be I don't know, an exercise. It may be something that you can teach something with on how to swing a baseball. But I don't think T-ball should be a game. And I definitely don't think it should be a game or an activity that doesn't keep score. And T-ball is one of those first things that I remember that was an organized thing that kids would do and parents would sign up for and pay money for that didn't keep a score. We just want the kids to have fun. Well, take them to friggin' Disney World. They want to have fun. Take them to Busch Gardens. Take them to the park. Take them out in your backyard and spray them with the hose. They just want to have fun. Just spray them with the hose. Have fun. But we took something that was skill based and rooted in competition, and we took that away. So you didn't have to be good at it. You didn't have to be good. And even in little league sports, baseball in particular, where you have a league where the rule is everybody has to play, no matter if they're any good or not. And everybody in the league gets a trophy. Not just the team that won the most games. No. As a matter of fact, every kid who participates gets a trophy. You know what that did, right? That negated anything positive about the damn trophy. Trophy meant nothing. One of my favorite clips, and if I find it, I'll put it in this video. If I don't find it, it won't be there, but you've seen it where a kid is leaving some sort of sports arena. I think it's a basketball. I think it's a gym, and they play basketball, and he's got a trophy in his hand or a medal or something, and he throws it in the trash. And you hear an adult say, "What's that about?" And the kid turns around and goes, "We lost. We lost." Hopefully I can find that and insert that here at the end of the video. I love that kid. I don't know who that kid is. I don't know who those parents are, but I love that kid. We lost. We don't need a trophy for losing. Only winners get sprinkles. Let's stop celebrating mediocrity. The idea that you showed up, well, I'm here. You're 35 minutes late. Well, I did show up. Well, that's not enough. It's not good enough. Not that I was always Peter Punctual in my life. I was not. And I'm not now. But I never expected to be celebrated just because I just drug my dead ass in there at some point. I did the very minimal I had to do. That's not to be accepted, let alone celebrated. And if you find someone doing a great job that's above and beyond, praise them, celebrate them. Let's go. Do what they do. Your children, raise producers, raise people who are doing stuff. If you have to give your kids chores, unfortunately, I'm not the kid who had chores, and I'm paid for it. I'm gonna be honest with you, I paid for it. However, my parents did let me fail because failure becomes let them fail, let them fall on their ass. Let your kids fall, especially when they're kids and they're in a safe environment that their failing isn't going to cause them to be evicted from their homes, lose their car. Tell them to try out for stuff, encourage them to try out for stuff, work hard, and then not get it. And then not run to the teacher or the coach and say, I'm going to play my kid anyway. Story time. I worked as an assistant band director at a high school, and we used to have tryouts for drum majors. Now, where I worked was a fairly affluent area at the time, and most of the students were white. There were very few black kids in the school, and there were, in proportion, percentage-wise, very few black kids in band. And this one year, somebody complained that we never had a black drum major. Yes, we had black kids try out for drum major, but they didn't make it. Well, you'll say, well, why? They didn't meet the standard. Because at that point, I had sat on every board, watched every drum major rehearsal, every drum major tryout myself. At that point, we didn't have one. One particular year, this one parent was angry that her daughter did not make drum major. And she was sure that it was due to racism. No, her daughter wasn't very good. I had to go. I think I went to her and I talked to her about her daughter's audition. It just wasn't very good. And I named all the reasons why, and because I saw it myself, from vocal commands to all the stuff. Now that kid was welcome to stay in band and participate and be a leader in some other category, because there was lots of space for student leadership that wasn't the drum major. Lots of student leadership positions. It was a big school. It was a big school and a huge band at the time. But that wasn't good enough. These parents actually went to the principal and offered this solution: that everybody who tries out to be drum major ought to be drum major, and make it just switch off from week to week. Okay, everybody who interviewed for your job should be allowed to do your job once a week, every other week. You do it a week, I do it a week, Billy does it a week, Susie does it a week. Would you want to come back to it when it was your turn again? Yeah. That was a celebration of mediocrity. You either meet the standard or you get better. That's it. Let them fail. Teach them grit. Teach them how to work through stuff. Work with your hands. Because once you build something with your hands, it makes a difference. Fix something. If something's broken, find a way to, and it's hard now because so many things in our society are one use. If it breaks, there's not really a way to fix it. You don't have the tools. A while ago, when the old car broke down, you might get the manual out. I mean, you'd be able to go to remember going to the auto parts store, getting the manual, getting the parts, get under the shade tree and getting in there. Most vehicles are not designed, or just not designed for shade tree mechanics, let alone you or me. They just aren't designed to do that. You're not going to put in your own windshield because you don't have the tools by which to adjust the lane assists. You don't. And thus that can be dangerous. So you're going to have someone else do that. But if you can have something in your house that you can repair, I'll tell you what, story time. When our AC, I live in Florida, and when it's a bad thing in June, in July, and August, and September, and hell, November, if your AC dies. if your air conditioner dies and it's blowing out hot air or no air at all, it's a bad day. It's a frustrating day. It's a day that'll piss you off. A while ago, this happened, and I needed to know why because we don't have the $15,000 to replace the unit and all the stuff and the handler and all. We don't have the $15,000. Now, maybe if you go and join our Patreon, huh? You join our Patreon, maybe if you subscribe to this YouTube channel and we're able to monetize this video, maybe we still won't have $15,000 to put into an air conditioning system. But I know that I had to fix it. I knew that I had to fix it. I knew that we could not stay in this house. I knew that we couldn't be here in this place when the ambient temperature indoors was 90 degrees. I knew that couldn't happen. So I was able to find out what it could be through YouTube videos and through making a couple of phone calls and talking to some people. And I thought, well, heck, I'll try it. I'll put my Radio Shack training, into into play, and I'll go to that unit and I'll unscrew it. I'll take the case off, and I'll replace the capacitor. Someone said, "Have you tried replacing the capacitor?" To which I said, "No," but I knew what a capacitor was, and I can figure out theoretically what it was for and how it was used. So I found out what it was going to look like. Well, long story longer, and was able to take pictures of it with my phone and how it was wired up. Went to the parts store, got one, and the guy who sold to me said, "Be careful, those things will bite you." I said, "I know." Radio Shack training again, and I replaced it. Went inside, turned it on. Cold air came out of the vents. Felt like a dad. Felt like a husband. Felt accomplished. I was so excited. So when you can fix something, when you can fix something that's broken, now it works. That teaches you something. Even when you're an adult. So if you can find something for your kids to fix, let them fix. See if their bicycle breaks. See if they can fix it. Tell them to fix it. What's wrong with it? See if they can fix it. Because if they fix it, boy, then there is no stopping. You have taught them to overcome. You have taught them that they have something inside them that makes them overcome. Here's something that we're going to try at our house in a little bit. Plant something. Not just not just grass, although there's some grass out there. I didn't plant it. It was there when I got It was there when I got here. Plant some food. I am personally at this point in my life looking forward to eating some food that I planted. Whether it's a tomato, whether it's a pepper, whether it's a bean, a piece of collard green, something that I dug in the dirt with, planted, watched over, grew myself, and was able to feed myself with it. Screw Kroger. I can make my own tomatoes. Screw Aldi's. I can make my own peas. Screw Publix. I can't make my own pub stuff. So. Sorry, Publix. You know what I'm saying? That's working with my hands. Plant something. Make something. Mentor someone younger. And as we get older, maybe me crawling up on a ladder Not the best plan, right? Maybe if I need something done in the house and it requires that I get up on a ladder, maybe I have somebody else do that, right? Maybe. But I can mentor somebody, which takes some work. I can do that. And I should. I can model what purpose and perseverance really look like. Because America was built by calloused hands and tired feet, not hashtags and hollow slogans like Black Lives Matter, hashtag me too. What we need is that spirit again. Tomorrow, we're going to close out the Great American Rebuild series with the most critical piece of all, courage. Because none of this matters if good people stay quiet. We've got a great story about what happened to me this past week, and that's going to be on the broadcast tomorrow. Make sure you tune in. If you're watching, you're part of the rebuild. I get to work. Like, share, subscribe. And if you believe in what we're building, join us, support us. Join the Patreon page. Go to fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com, and click on the donate button. My name is Willie Lawson. This is the Morning Report. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, don't take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.